glad to see you. You ready for this?
Yes, but I don't. I'm a grand marshal, but I don't know any martial arts. How can I do that?
Here we have coming one of our first float. This is Reading Cooperative Bank. People have been very, very generous to the committee. And the Wilmington High School Marching Wildcat Band.
All right, Uncle Sam and the 4th of July committee. I figured if I'm on the committee, I could probably march with them. All right.
My fans, I'm sorry, I can't talk now. My fans are out here.
Approaching us now is our Minutemen unit. As you could have heard a little earlier, they've already made themselves known further down the line.
It's like that.
He's still up there, isn't he? They missed him.
Yeah,
He's
I know,
still
they
up
Walter
there.
up top.
He did duck, though, I noticed, yeah.
Fire Department from New York. This it says on the front.
Yep. Getting a great ovation.
Sure is.
I've checked the train schedules, and that should not be a problem. To your left front is Susan Muse. She's the president of the Reading Cooperative Bank, who is basically funded this whole thing. And it's proudly offered by myself on May 13th of 2005 to a great, good guy. Congratulations, Chuck, and thank you for everything that you've done. Matt, the same is true. You've done a wonderful job. You represent the very best in the spirit of this community, and both of you represent something that I know that your father was and is very, very proud of.
How did you become the town clerk? And
Well,
what's that all about?
I began with the Board of Appeals, went on to the assessor's office, became assistant town clerk, and now I have been town clerk. I'm starting my 13th year.
Outside burning is allowed in Wilmington from January 15th until May 1st.
Today is our graduation day. It's a day we've been looking forward to since our parents first walked us to our bus stop.
I couldn't wait to get out of here, but now high school is over, and just when I'm finally free, I find myself sneaking back into this place and sitting in the hall, thinking about my friends and all the time we spent here.
Tell me, what do you do over there at the Senior Center? Taking care of, meaning being a resource, referral, if anyone needs help within the home, also for social events.
You were in the Super Bowl playoffs last year. Your thoughts going into training camp this season?
I mean, we kind of knew going into the year that we would have an outstanding football team.
Back to pass. And it's complete. Ball dropped in the end zone, and the Wildcats recover for a touchdown.
What about number 35? Yeah.
3 points, Elisa Brown.
Sachem, stolen by Stewart. Stewart, up and in for 2.
Yeah, we were confident in what we could do. We had a lot of experience, especially at the skill positions. We really only had a couple of returning linemen, and Matt Martin, one of our captains here to my left, was one of them. And
Tiberio back to pass, and it's picked off by the Cats in their end zone. That's Hera. Hera runs it out. Still on his feet on the left side, gives a straight arm and is brought down. All alone. Tyra for 3.
Back out to Stephanie Sauvé. She shoots. Yes! Another 3-pointer.
Looks for the pass. Let's get Stewart open. Nice catch by Stewart. Complete.
Lewis for three. Hits them both. Nice play. That's the game, ladies and gentlemen. Final score, Wilmington 56, Stoneham 48. This is Wilmington's first tournament win in 12 years.
Fortunately, tonight, you could do something about it by calling us at 978-657-4066, and we need you to do that now.
You can help out by contacting the numbers on the screen that shows before you, or by coming down to WCTV with your cash or check contribution.
What went wrong? What can we learn? How can we improve? How can we make things more efficient for down the road?
We may not be able to keep up with all the influx of the demands from the public, but we can prioritize them, and we will serve the needs.
Got ahead of the storm Saturday, actually, before the storm. We tried to drive out Friday night, but we couldn't find any hotels all the way to Dallas.
I'm very much interested in social work and social relief work, even long-term.
I'm looking for counseling, and they're assisting in that, intervention, crisis counseling, as well as looking for vaccinations to return to assess the damage.
State Representative James Maselli of the 19th Middlesex District, and I'd personally like to thank you for participating in this very important undertaking tonight.
This is our third annual breast cancer awareness auction. October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're doing our part to raise some money to benefit breast cancer awareness. On the lines with us is Kathy Delaney Smith. Kathy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Kathy, thanks for becoming a part of our special program tonight. Kathy is the head coach of Harvard women's basketball.
Before being diagnosed with breast cancer, I was basically your classic unaware person.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I'll have two in here, and then just when this ends, yeah, hit the whammy bar, but not until.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Doherty, and with me is Bob Peterson, and we'll be your host for the next 2 hours.
And again, the first item, if we can get a picture of that, one of our cameramen, it's item 706. It's a digital combination fire safe donated to us by D&D Lock.
It has a retail value of $400.
Memberships allow residents to take classes and workshops at WCTV.
What would you like to tell us about the 4th of July Committee?
Well, the committee is, it's actually a nonprofit corporation. We support the library either through volunteer services or financial support.
We'll be having food drives. We'll be, we'll be putting Thanksgiving baskets together for, any needy family in town.
As we give tribute and show our support to our veterans of yesterday and today, we should remember the people all over the world who are in the armed forces. Joseph L. Ring.
They could be your neighbors, relatives, or men or women who live down the street. Just ordinary people who at the time their country needed them answered the call.
Well, Merry Christmas to you. What do you want for Christmas? You got that?
Well, pretty much I wish for. Oh yeah, Molly the American Girl doll.
Go tell it on the mountain, the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
At this point, we're going to give Mr. Kelly a chance to fire back if he's interested. Maybe tell a story or two.
I always said the best move I ever made was when I came down to teach in Wilmington.
Chief Robert Spencer and his lovely wife, June.
Bob became deputy chief in 2001 and was appointed chief of the Wilmington Police Department in May 2004.
Tell me a little bit about the different principles or practices that go along with yoga and why there are the different types.
Well, there's one term covering a lot of different styles of yoga.
I see.
And when you go to Hatha yoga, there's all different branches that you can get into.
February is Heart Month, and we thought we would present this program to you as a way of saving a sweetheart.
What we do is we help folks with their winter heating bills. So we can help with oil bills, gas bills, electric bills, and if your heat is included in your rent, you may also qualify for the program.
Let's get into it. Our first question will be asked by Mr. Bjork and will be answered by Mr. West in a process that we determined prior to the debate. Mr. Bjork.
On Monday night, the Board of Appeals granted approval for a comprehensive permit for the Crystal Commons residential project at 10 Burlington Avenue. Does Crystal Commons reflect the concept of smart growth? And if so, how does it compare with the type of development that may be engendered within the Neighborhood Activity Center Overlay District?
You had an opportunity for a developer to come in. They came in with a 200-odd unit proposal, and then through working with the Board of Appeals, brought the complex down to 108 units.
Obviously, we do need growth. There's smart growth as opposed to just blind growth, and I think the boards will hopefully continue to regulate it in the manner that the master plan kind of outlays it out for them.
Although there was some mitigation and there was some discussions on reductions and it was modified, people driving through that intersection and away home from work, it's been my experience people are waiting through light cycles. I know there was a traffic study done, but I just believe that that's still too much density of new development at that failed intersection already.
Whether it's Crystal Commons or any of these other developments, we don't have a lot of options. The state carries a big stick, and they basically are going to approve them whether the town does or not. So by negotiating with the town, a lot of concessions have been made.
Following my presentation, Steve Morrow from Olin Corporation will be next on the docket to give you an update of all the activities that have gone on at the site. A lot of works, a lot of well installations, a lot of studies have happened, and we want to let you know what those are.
All of these dots along here are sampling locations that we have installed additional sampling points. We did need to try to understand, since we've installed this, we've cut off a large portion of this material from getting into the ditch. We're still getting higher concentration into the ditch in certain areas. We're trying to understand why that is occurring since we've actually cut off a large portion of the material.
I'm sitting here in the seat, and I look at all the destruction and the human misery that this company has caused in this town. And I don't want to hear it was your predecessors. Well, that's you bought it. You bought it. You're responsible. How could you, after all of this, get a company like Transrail, who is absolutely going to put this town underground at will? That they get their approval, and they come here. That's going to be the second worst thing, or the first worst thing, that ever happened to this community. How can you sell and solicit?
Does it get about us? If we clean up this property so that it can be sold, then we have the right to sell it to whoever can use the property.
That isn't true. Well, you may have the legal right, but you don't have the moral right.
To see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire by purchase, gift, or eminent domain taking the option premises, which includes the Butters Farm dwelling in Lot 6, or in the alternative, the Butters Farm dwelling in Parcel A.
It is the oldest unchanged dwelling in Wilmington. It is the ancestral home of the Butters family.
Why can't we save one house with so much history? If for no other reason, the house should be saved, in tribute to the men who built it and the memory of the men who fought to save it. The values we hold dear in our world today are quickly slipping away from us. The history we are trying to save today will be our judge. Vote yes on this article.
It's fine to go to the library, it's fine to look it up on the internet, it's fine to see pictures of things, but to actually be available or make ourselves available to preserve history in the physical form and then later on be able to put a deed attachment on it and sell it and not really have it cost the town very much, I think is a rare opportunity that we should not let go by. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I think $450,000 is a bit outrageous for this.
It deserves to be saved. On behalf of the Historical Commission, I ask you to vote yes on this important article.
All those in favor of Article 20 as presented signify by rising at your place. All those opposed to Article 20 as presented signify by rising at your place. The vote is as follows: 225 in the affirmative, 8 in the negative. Motion passes with the required two-thirds.
Mr. Moderator?
Today, I have the incredible pleasure of interviewing and meeting with Rex Traylor.
It's great being with you. Now, you were on my show, I'm on your show.
I know, the tables have turned.
Isn't
I'll try
that
to be
something?
just as good to you as you were to me. Deal?
And I'm proud of it.
Excellent. Now, I know, Mr. Traylor, you're coming May 19th to see us here in Wilmington.
I certainly am. Looking
at
forward to
the
it,
Wilmington
too.
Middle School, I believe, and that's through the Sarah Carter Committee. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about?
Anything and everything. I'll bring my guitar along.
Excellent.
It's great to be in Wilmington. You've been great friends and supporters of mine. And I agree, it's great to see the enthusiasm that we're seeing from Democrats around Massachusetts.
I remember when my dad first ran for Congress back in 1986 when I was 6 years old. And it's been part of something that my brother and I had. I've really loved and it's become a part of us.